I thought of this question after I saw a muscular guy wearing a tank top getting out of an overly loud lifted truck with a sign across the back saying, "Lions, not sheep," at the grocery store. And no, he wasn't wearing a mask. Laughing out loud. Story 1. Constantly looking for the need to brag about your wealth and physical prowess, especially on social media. I know a few people who define themselves by the amount of money they have made or how they are better than everyone because they practice a certain martial art. Story 2. When he is not supportive of the other men in his life, a truly masculine man loves and supports his brothers and celebrates their achievements. An insecure man brings others down to prove he is on top. Story 3. People online who post cringy graphics of a lion or the Joker with an equally cringe quote next to it saying something along the lines of, "Followers work for others. The alpha works for themselves," with some dollar signs next to it. Or other similar motivational woke posts. Story 4. Trying to dominate a conversation or activity for no reason. Being needlessly competitive, with emphasis on for no reason and needlessly. Story 5. The only sign I can think of is going out of your way to prove that you are not insecure about your masculinity or yourself in general. Secure people are not looking to be validated for being secure. Story 6. I go to the gym a lot, and I've seen guys incredibly fit yet don't show it off. Then I see the guys who think they need to show off every muscle in their body and have close to no actual muscle. Or simply people on any online game with the name alpha. If you are alpha, you don't need to show it off like it's a big deal, laughing out loud. Story 7. When I was in the army, we would definitely see people who were bullied in high school and decided to be Billy Badass and join the military. Then they would be teased and hazed a little as privates. But as soon as they got their own team and a taste of power, they would be the ones that made everyone's lives much more miserable than they needed to be, reveling in being the tormentor. Story 8. Here are some that I have seen. 1. Constant need to be in a relationship or have a girlfriend no matter how he feels about her. Guys who talk negatively about women who speak up or needlessly call them names. Guys who are uncomfortable being close emotionally or physically around other men in fear of being perceived as gay or emasculated. Also, just trust your gut around people. Everyone has insecurities, but there's a fine line between when it's a part of people versus when people are a part of them. Story 9. Has to make any situation about themselves, has to be the alpha. Compensates not just with a truck but constant overt, look at me actions. Disregards your opinion immediately if they disagree. Dismissive towards anyone who doesn't act like them. Loud on purpose because they think everyone likes the sound of their voice as much as they do. Act like a man, bro. Constant put-downs. Refuses to drink any non-manly drink. Mentions how big their penis is, it isn't. Thinks sports. Knowledge is a personality trait. Story 10. What did you just say about me, you little fool? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy Sea, Air, and Land teams, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda. I have over 300 confirmed actions. I am trained in guerrilla warfare, and I'm the top sniper in the entire United States Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you out with precision the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my words. You think you can get away with saying that to me over the internet? Think again. As we speak, I am contacting my secret network of spies across the United States, and your internet protocol is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the storm. The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're done, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can defeat you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the United States Marine Corps, and I will use it to its full extent to wipe your miserable existence off the face of the continent, you little fool. If only you could have known what retribution your little clever comment was about to bring down upon you, maybe you would have held your tongue. But you couldn't, you didn't, and now you're paying the price, you fool. I will unleash fury all over you, and you will drown in it. You're done, kiddo. Story 11. Whenever he insults himself a lot and doesn't like to be complimented, or when he acts very negatively, these are some of the things that I do when I'm insecure. Story 12. Worrying about face and honor and fighting over it. I've never been in a fight. 99% of my friends have never been in a fight. None of my colleagues have ever been in a fight. Yet, you come across these individuals who seem to think that it's normal. Quite often they complain about it. Oh, I can barely leave my house without someone starting trouble. In every single scenario, it is they who are the problem. Story 13. The worst are guys who use hashtags on Instagram like real man, real men, real men have beards, manly, man, men, alpha male, intelligent, smart, etc. I'm like, dude, I've never seen a confident masculine man ever once use stuff like that. If you have to tell the world you're a real man, or how intelligent or alpha you are, you aren't. Ha ha ha. Story 14. Definitely show-offs. If you are easily insulted by things tied to a lack of masculinity, such as secretly liking pink, for example, then you have fragile masculinity. Normally, the truly masculine people are those who are true people. They don't need reassurance, they show emotion, and the idea of girly colors and smells do not exist. Story 15. When someone gets upset over something as silly as the way another man enjoys his comfortable clothing, takes care of his body, or the way he likes his vehicles. Story 16. I'm just going to come out and say it, even if I get downvoted. A lot of the things people are talking about in this thread can be a signal of insecurity, but sometimes it's just a hobby that you don't appreciate, understand, or for some reason you just want something to criticize. Guys with lifted trucks. Yeah, my dad, who is neither a jerk nor insecure, had one for the longest time. Why? Because it's practical? Yes, believe it or not, you can use a truck to do things. He lifted it because he liked the look of it, and it enabled him to go off-roading with his friends. If you want to lift your truck because you think it looks nice, then you shouldn't have to worry about people thinking you're insecure. It's no different than modifying a car to make it look different. Guys that wear tank tops. As someone who is very involved in gym culture and who is neither insecure nor a jerk, it feels good to wear tank tops from time to time. Do I wear them often outside of the gym? Hardly. Getting a good physique takes tons of work. More work than most people are willing to put in. I should be allowed to, and am allowed to, display it without coming off as insecure if I do so in a modest way. See. Tank top in appropriate weather and in an appropriate setting. This is a pet peeve of mine on Reddit. The majority of Reddit isn't outdoorsy or into fitness, and they tend to create their echo chamber where they'll belittle people for displaying those types of hobbies like taking pictures with fish they caught, animals they've hunted, gym selfies, lifted trucks, and so on. It's very annoying, and just because you don't see the value in the hobby or the means of displaying it doesn't mean it's invalid. You end up coming off as the insecure ones because you're nitpicking at other people's hobbies and decisions which are, in reality, completely normal. All the things I described above are perfectly normal within those respective communities as long as they are not taken to an extreme. You making fun of them is no different than someone making fun of more online hobbies like gaming or watching anime. Of course, some people legitimately are obnoxious and insecure, but those people are very few and far between, and they are definitely not recognizable by a lot of the things mentioned in this thread. Far from it. Story 17. Anytime someone tries to act dominant, you know they are insecure, unless they are in a dangerous situation and doing it to avoid appearing as a target. Story 18. As a formerly very insecure man, I used to tear down people of all genders who had things that were better or nicer than my situation. You don't even do it consciously. It just kind of spews out. Story 19, just loud in general. Says he doesn't care what anyone says or thinks about him, but in reality seeks validation and attention from other people all the time. Story 20, aggression and violence. Many insecure men use tactics of intimidation or just plain old violence because they feel attacked by everything, cannot discuss like a normal grown-up, feel like it proves they are a real man, etc. Often, it's about minor things that are no big deal at all, and those are the guys that start fights everywhere. When there's a fight at a club or a party, it's most likely not for a good reason. It's because there's a deeply insecure, fragile child in the body of a grown-up trying to prove he's not a complete nutcase. Irony is, that's exactly what they do, but many people don't understand it and even give them their confirmation. Story 21. Procrastinates on difficult tasks. Often, this is a sign that this person is insecure about their ability to produce good work and self-sabotages in order to give themselves an excuse when the final result does not meet their standards or someone else's standards. I'm guilty of this and many other behaviors that are deeply rooted in insecurities. For those interested, here's an article about the insecurities most people face. Story 22. I once saw a video where a man demonstrated how to shave your beard like a real man, then proceeded to throw the blade away and said that real men don't shave. I thought that was so ridiculous that I considered making a reply where I would shave some absolutely random pattern with a women's shaver to show that if your masculinity is tied to your beard, you have already lost the game. Story 23. Something I've noticed is if their standards for a relationship are low. For example, they are much more tolerant of toxic behavior and tend to believe that if a relationship isn't going well, it's always their fault. Story 24. My friend introduced me to a potential love interest of hers one evening. The conversation turned to what I look for in a guy, and I said I like guys who own cats. The man immediately interrupted me and said, "I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with a woman who owns a cat, but there's something wrong with a man who does." The next day, my friend asked me what I thought of him, and I told her he's insecure. Seriously, what kind of man criticizes many men for owning a certain type of pet? Cats are skilled hunters who are careful about whom they trust. This man also talked to us about how much money he makes and how he knocked someone out with one punch once. It felt like I was back in high school, and he was trying too hard to convince us how manly he was. As it turned out, he was trying to use my friend to cheat on his girlfriend. Great guy. Story 25. Lots of talk about alpha and one-upmanship, but a more subtle one I see is not allowing themselves to enjoy things that are traditionally childish or girly. Not watching TV shows or listening to certain music because they don't like it is fine. But if the reason is because it's sissy, girly, or not manly, they might as well be admitting that they think enjoying those things will make them look weak or less masculine. Story 26. Aversion to moisturizing. Dudes will be red and raw like that's how skin's supposed to be. Bonus points if they criticize me for being afraid of spiders and dismiss me for painting my nails. Story 27. Whenever you talk about something you like and you get a comment about having a small penis, you see it said a lot about guys who like guns. You can feel insecure about your manhood, but don't project it on me. Story 28. Don't we all have our insecurities? Want a telltale sign? How about a beating heart? I mean, I am no fan of huge trucks, domineering men, men with bad taste, and so on, but it's a little bit awful to be on the lookout for men doing things you don't like and assuming they have a micropenis or personality defect. Story 29. A guy who likes to dish out banter but cannot handle it when they are criticized or become the subject of a lighthearted joke. They'll tease you for having big ears or feet or something similar, true in my case, and then if you respond with something like, "Why are you teasing my feet when that tie-dye t-shirt makes you look like a messy recipient?" they get all sulky. Bonus insecurity points if they intensify this behavior around women. Story 30. I have big insecurity problems, but it's not masculinity in particular. I feel that I need to adopt a workaholic lifestyle and follow it to a fault if I am to have career success. Here's what I mean. At 6 a.m., the alarm goes off, you get out of bed immediately and don't look back. The first thing you do right after that is get your running clothes and go for a run. Come back, have breakfast, brush teeth, shower, and then you're off to work just like that. It's almost like they do in the military, as I have been told. I get honestly kind of depressed that I can't get on this lifestyle and stay on it. I know that's what almost every chief executive officer does, and I know adopting the lifestyle would be highly beneficial to my career. If anyone has successfully made this transition, can you give me some advice? Thank you. Story 31. I see these types of posts here and on AskReddit quite a bit, and honestly, they seem to be lacking a bit of self-awareness. One could easily make the argument that a group of men calling other men insecure in order to validate themselves is pretty insecure. Story 32. If their Nissan Micra sounds like it will rip a hole in the fabric of the universe whenever they accelerate because of the modifications that do nothing other than increase volume. Story 33. Guys who don't keep themselves clean because I'm a guy. If you think you're being male renders you unable to pick up your own mess, sorry, that's not a valid excuse. Story 34. Being homophobic to me means you are gay and will not admit it to yourself. You can thank all the homophobic Republicans caught with barely legal boys in the 1990s for that one. Story 35. Anyone who tears others down rather than building them up is often insecure. Insecure men are more concerned with others rising above them than being comfortable with who they are. Story 36. Drawing inappropriate images on things. Seeing inappropriate images everywhere. Accusing women of envy, general obsession. Being intolerant. Making his problem everyone else's problem. Extreme vanity. Thinking he's cool for disliking cats. Pressuring women and boys to be tough. Telling them to endure. Insisting it didn't really hurt. Never stopping talking, explaining excessively. Spending extravagantly on himself and others. Obsession with cars, sneakers, premium liquor, boutique hair products. Obvious lies about famous friends, exotic vacations, investment success, attractive partners. Explaining excessively. Anger issues when he perceives disrespectful behavior.